Welcome back to the EAM Crypto channel. Today we are going to talk to the founder of Lodge Capital. Look guys, really excited about today's interview. I have not done an AMA or video review since I think September or October of last year. Is it because I didn't want to talk to founders or I thought that DeFi is dead or anything like that? No, I just didn't want to bring on a new project during a time when liquidity is very, very low in the markets, where the macro looked even worse, and where I thought that the price charts would probably be pretty poor. So what I decided to do was just take a little break from AMAs and reviews until things kind of look better. And I'm not stating that BTC found a bottom. I don't know. But at the end of the day, we are a lot closer to the bottom than not. I think things are going to get better as the year goes on. I'm very bullish about crypto long term. And I think DeFi will get the levels of liquidity it needs moving forward more and more and more. So having said all that, we are going to talk to Lodge Capital today. This is a very cool, unique project. It is a mix between Hex and a Tomb Fork. So even though many will call Lodge Capital a Tomb Fork, it is very different than your typical Tomb Fork. It has a lot of different aspects to it. So there's a lot of gamification. There's a lot of strategy. There's one strategy that one should probably implement with their token dues, which we're going to cover in great detail, which is very different than the strategy that one may want to take with, for example, the share token Lodge. They have some very unique kind of things that they don't want to talk about just yet because of the secret sauce kind of thing before their launch. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk to Lodge Capital, and remember, in DeFi, only use money that you can afford to lose. I hope you enjoyed the interview. Thanks for joining the EAM Crypto channel. Glad to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I don't know if you knew this, man, but this is my first AMA or video review, whatever you want to call it, in months. I think it was October, September, the last time I did one. I've been very picky about who I bring to my channel. As you know, We've been in a bear market. Liquidity in DeFi has been short. So I wanted to be extra crazy picky about who I bring on. So just consider it a bit of a cool thing that I have you on, because it's something I haven't done for a while. I'm a lot more optimistic about where the market's going to be in the next few months to come. And no one knows for sure we hit a bottom, but I think we're a lot closer to it than not. And yeah, man, thanks so much for coming on the channel.
Oh, thanks for having me. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So look, we were kind of talking before. You kind of made a joke about the fact that you've done a few MAs. You're a little tired of having to do the intro, tell everyone about yourself. Yeah. So we're just going to jump into it. We're just going to cut to the chase.
Yeah, everybody knows the backstory by now. Everyone knows me. I've been on YouTube for years. So let's explain Lodge.
All right,
It's a fantastic, complicated, fun project.
It is, and with different ways to play it, with different strategies. So yeah, let's get right into it, man. So pre-sale investing. It looks like you've already done one round, and looks like we're now about to hit round two. Is that correct?
We're almost sold out of round two.
Okay.
So we're in round two, and we're almost sold out.
Yeah. Apparently, there's 174 left. Is that right?
Something like that.
Okay. Very cool. How long did it take you to sell out of round one?
Not long at all. About a week.
Okay.
Most of them sold in about a week.
Okay.
The bulk of them.
Okay. Very cool. And then we have round three, and then you have the launch. And from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys are not throwing any specific dates out there. You want to time this just right so you can get kind of implemented at the right time as far as the whole market goes, the macro, all that good stuff. And you have some kind of expert, I think market expert on your team that's going to kind of hold your hand through all that. Okay.
Well, we just have different launch variables for different market conditions. So when we're ready, we're going to launch. We're not going to wait for there's never going to be perfect market conditions, but you can avoid launching at the top of a bull trap. You can avoid launching at the obvious wrong time. But as long as we're trading in a range and Bitcoin's not moving down super fast, we'll be fine. We're a new protocol. A lot of people behind us. A lot more people are coming, and it's a great protocol.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of excitement about it. Just about every single one of my viewers that I talk to is going to take place in it, or already has some dues, and yeah, there's a lot of buzz about it, a lot of excitement. All right, man. So I guess yeah. So I guess we can go into the tokens because there is a lot to uncover here. So I guess we can start talking about dues, which is something a little different. It's got a little bit of that hex feel to it, which I'm sure you did purposely because it's good
absolutely.
to have that. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit more about dues?
Yeah. Any Hexicans watching, if you have an active hex stake, when we launch the Beehive, come and connect your wallet, and you'll have a free lock, some free dues in a 3-month lock for you, just because we appreciate the hex model.
Very cool. And I'm guessing you've been pretty vocal with the hex community about that.
Not yet. I've actually on my channel, I've done AMAs with 2 of the top hex influencers. I consider myself a Hexican, so I'm in the community, and I can get the word out quick. But that really doesn't need to happen until pre-sale. Round 3's almost over. So,
are you friendly with Richard Hart?
Yeah.
Wow, very cool, very cool. Has he done anything as far as telling his community about Lodge?
No, I doubt it. Okay. No, he wouldn't do that if I asked.
No, he wouldn't. All right, because that would be huge. That would be huge.
He would say, I know him so well. He would say, "I'll promote you once you get to 200 million market cap or something like that." That's what he would say. Until then, don't even ask me about it again.
Okay, fair enough. But
all right. The way I see it is, there's a lot of wiggle room between Animal Farm and Hex in terms of market cap, because the market cap of Hex is one of the biggest in crypto. It's $4 billion.
It is,
and we're pretty much, the Beehive is pretty much Hex on steroids and mushrooms, because it's just insane. The way it rewards those who stay staked. And we just added to the DApp today. We're testing it out tomorrow, but it's definitely a new feature getting added to the documentation. I'm revealing it here first. Cool. You can get a better APR. You can have the way the Beehive works is your weight. Well, since we're talking about dues, do you want to click on Beehive down there?
Sure.
Because that's where dues goes in the Beehive. The way the Beehive works is there's a x-axis. There's an actual formula I'll be posting, but basically it is your number of dues divided by the total number of dues in the Beehive times your length. And that is the formula that determines your weight in the pool. So your weight is higher if you deposit BUSD dues LP. So we actually made the Beehive a dual staking system now.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
So we could have some, instead of having plain dues locked up doing nothing, dead TBL I call it, we'd actually have working TBL that's actually providing utility, liquidity, locked up in the Beehive. And there's nothing better than locked up liquidity, right?
Right.
So you'll get a third. The initial number we're going by is 33% higher weight if you put in a LP token versus one dues token.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And then, guys, just real quick, because we haven't covered it, it's a big piece of it. If you do not stay with your stake throughout its whole length, not only do you lose all the BUSD rewards that you accumulated, but you also lose half of your original stake. So this is very much all about diamond hands. You do not want to be paper hands. I know that you've talked in the past about some statistics. Most people are paper hands. I think you said
3
3 or
days.
4 days. Yeah, so that's crazy. So yeah, so this is a very unique way to really reward those that stick with the protocol. And we haven't seen something like this just yet. So I'm really excited to see how this plays out. Because I mean, let's be honest, a big issue with Tomb Forks is that you have in and out, you have day trading, you have all sorts of stuff, swing trading. So this kind of deals, this piece of it will not be affected by all that. So that's really cool to see.
No, the success of the Tomb Fork and the success of the Beehive are completely separate.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, very cool. There's a lot to cover, but should we cover anything else about dues?
Dues, there's no team tokens, no marketing tokens. We didn't do any VC vesting. It's all just those 3 pre-sale rounds in the seed round, and they're all on the public on the vest that you see in the documentation. So there's no surprise tokens, and that's a very good thing.
That's a huge thing. We see some crazy stuff. Where teams just reward themselves in all sorts of ways. The holders have no idea what's going on. So
yeah, and they pay people in protocol tokens, and those people just sell the tokens. We did none of that. So it's really a fair launch.
Yeah, which we love to see. All right, and then I think we can go and just one more thing. The supply is 3,333, which is quite low. So did want to bring that up as well. And the taxes are 6% on the buy, 12% on the sell. All right, so let's talk about level, man, because there's a bit to uncover here. It's not your typical peg token. Tell me why you're excited about level and what makes it different.
Well, the model. It's the model that makes level so great, because all a peg token needs to do is stay above peg, and a comfortable distance above peg is nice. If you can find price discovery and go flat, a comfortable distance above peg, that is perfect for a Tomb Fork. It's not supposed to be that way. No Tomb Fork or Seniorage protocol is supposed to be in expansion mode 24/7, 365. The Federal Reserve and the US dollar it's a Seniorage protocol. Not many people know that.
Pretty much, yeah.
And the problem with Tomb Forks is that they're entirely too inflationary. Single staking for inflationary rewards is a bad model. It only really worked until people wrote scripts to automatically yield off of it without even, one thing about the lodge is that we have an auto compounder for the masonry and an auto compounder for the farm, but Yield Wolf and Beefy and all those websites and bots and stuff, they cannot make an auto compounder for the lodge with or without our permission, because you need to be on a whitelist.
Okay, so, that's a nice touch.
Because I believe auto compounders outside of the protocol just bleed a protocol dry. It allows anybody with a finger to click the perfect strategy who never stepped foot in the Discord or read the documentation. All they see is a yield. They click a button and get a one-click perfect strategy to bleed the protocol dry. It just sells your protocol tokens all day long. And we won't have that at all. So that won't be an issue for us. There's a lot of things that won't be an issue for us that have been an issue for every Tomb Fork.
Okay, so let's cover that, because one huge issue that we have with Tomb Forks, and you know this well, I'm sure you do, even though we haven't talked about it, is the fact that once things got very, very bad for this bear market, DeFi liquidity just kept tanking and tanking and tanking. That was the biggest issue. There's not enough liquidity in DeFi. We lost a lot of market participants who got burned. So losing the peg, even though, like you stated, I'm not disagreeing with you, man. Losing the peg is part of the protocol. However, during this bear market, what we noticed is that when a protocol, a Tomb 4 protocol loses its peg, it really, really hurt it. It hurt it as far as obviously TVL, but it hurt it as far as like everybody's
Yeah.
like spirits kind of went down and the price kept tanking. The share token would tank was because people would then panic. So are you going to put a little more focus on, I know that you have secret sauce and all sorts of stuff to try to keep it over
Yes.
peg. Is it going to be a big part of your mission to keep it over peg? What
Yes.
is your thought process? Okay. Tell
My
us
thought
more.
process is that we're aiming for a 2.0 TWAP as the norm. And
Okay.
if it drops below 1.7, 1.6, we'll start intervening with buybacks and whatnot. We won't wait until we go under peg to start trying to recover the peg. Even, we want to keep it well above. And we have all sorts of deflationary mechanisms throughout the lodge. And the team has vowed that if we do ever go under peg, we will take our DEB allocation, which is lodge, swap it into level and burn it until we're back above peg. So we won't take profit if users aren't profiting, period.
Okay. And you're also, if you're under peg, and I might have read this wrong, but the taxes will change, right?
Oh yeah, this is a big part of what
Okay.
keeps it over peg.
Okay. And how will they change?
If you click on fire tax,
Fire tax. Okay.
and this is what happens with taxes to both level and lodge. The buy tax goes away as the TWAP. As we go under peg, the buy tax goes to 0.
Okay.
But the sell tax gradually increases all the way up to 26%. if we were to get to 0.5 TWAP, the tax would be 26%. But it is like almost impossible to get that far because all of those sales taxes, we have a secret tax method that we'll be revealing right before launch. We don't want to do it any sooner. So like a week before launch, we'll add it to the documentation. We do taxes without taking any protocol tokens. So we make auto LP without actually using any of the protocol token or selling half. Usually you have to sell half of it. We don't have to do that. And the lodge, what we do with the lodge tax is really profound on the price of level and the TWAP. The tax on lodge, the share token, 50% of that is swapped into level, which creates buy pressure on level. Sure. And then it's burned, which creates a little deflation, along with the treasury buying and burning, along with the team taking our DEB allocations, swapping it into level and burning it, and posting the transactions as announcements. I don't see it ever getting that far, honestly. This is a great model. The tax system constantly feeds into level, into the TWAP. Everything is designed to keep like a pyramid straight back into level to keep level above peg, because you're right. Even though Tomb forks the original, a seniorage protocol is not supposed to always be in expansion mode, but sentiment goes out the window as soon as you go under peg in this market. So you have to stay over peg. So you have to make changes. People aren't going to accept the the deflationary modes. They only want the expansionary periods. They don't want to buy the bonds because they don't have faith that it's going to come back up, because a lot of them don't.
No one likes bonds.
The reason, I've been watching Tomb forks since the first Tomb fork. I made one of my first big bags in Tomb itself. And one of the biggest reasons Tomb forks fall is because, first of all, you need constant new investors into Tomb fork, or it gets stagnant and the
Mm-hmm.
prices just start to fall from people taking profits every day. But a Tomb fork's really in trouble, and any project's really in trouble when the developers stop working on it, but they continue to take their
The
allocation.
cut. Mm-hmm.
So they stop updating it, they stop promoting it, they just get lazy. But they keep selling their daily allocation on the market every day. And that's, I guess that's what you would call a slow rug.
It is. It's exactly that, and we've
Yeah.
seen it way too many times. And the other thing that you didn't bring up that I know from your protocol, I noticed that you are tackling on is the fact that the other downfall for a lot of Tomb forks was the emissions were just too high from the start. And I
Right.
know that you're very much aware of that, and you've put that into your tokenomic slash plan very well. So I know that you
Yeah.
hit on that for sure, which is really good to see.
We actually have 3% of the level emissions going straight to the burn address just for that little added push.
Yeah, yeah, it all helps.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so that covers level. So, and again, guys, when he says there's secret sauce and stuff that he can't say right now, he just wants to make sure that bad actors don't use what they've been working on for a very long time against them before they launch. So, but eventually, you're going into open source and you're going to show everything, right?
Yeah, eventually I would want people, down the road to actually copy this and improve on it. Hopefully this model is that good that it lasts and inspires people to make even better things. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
how
no,
the
that's very
space
cool.
works. I was
Yeah,
inspired by Tomb, Hex, Animal Farm, Drip to make this. So
I like it, man. I like it. All right, so let's talk about Lodge. It's the share token. We kind of already hit on it a little bit, but what else did you want to make sure that we covered today?
the share token, Lodge. The masonry is going to be a dual masonry. So you'll get a higher APR if you deposit uh, Lodge BUSD LP tokens, but you can also deposit just Lodge.
Okay. And how does Square fall into all this?
Square is the bond. So if we were to go under peg, you can buy Square, and once we get back over peg, you can sell it back to the treasury for a premium.
Okay.
And
Very cool.
uh, buying bonds is very profitable if we go back above peg.
All right. And you touched on the masonry. One thing that I thought was pretty cool was this randomness to it in regard to the epoch lengths. I think that's a really good idea. My question about, I think it's pretty self explanatory, but my question to you was, is it completely random or did you guys kind of tweak it so that the randomness in some way can help the protocol and ecosystem out when it needs it the most?
We have we'll have the ability to skew it,
Okay.
but we're using Chainlink, so it is true randomness. There are other random generators out there, but there there's cracks for them. People can actually decode them, and they'll know how long the next epochs are going to be, and they can program that into their bots and actually bot us. So one of the reasons we're randomizing everything is so we can't be botted, so we can't be scripted, so people can't take advantage of, you know, finding a, there's always a pattern in all the Tomb forks, and you could take advantage of it, find the best APR and drain it with funds. Uh, Oversaturated pool. These emissions,
Mm-hmm.
uh, these they're level minted here. These are probably all going to be reduced. Well, they are all going to be reduced.
Okay.
It did not get updated yet. We will be updating that once we get closer to launch. what's going to happen with APRs is at any given time, it'll be a relatively low APR. Pretty much all day, every day, relatively low APR. But we have something called the wild curve. And the curve is the rate at which rewards are given out. It controls the APRs. So every 24 hours, we use Chainlink to pick 1 to 3 epochs, a random number between 1 to 3 epochs, and each epoch is a random number between 3 and 9 hours. So if you click on wild epochs on the left there, it'll give a description of that. Yeah. Wild epochs utilize Chainlink VFR to generate a random length for each epoch. Each epoch is a random number of hours between 3 and 9. Lodge lockup is a random number of epochs between 1 and 3. And level lockup is always 1 epoch. So you won't know exactly when your locks are going to be up, ever. The team won't know. No hacker with the best script in the world can know, because Chainlink VFR is the best out there.
Okay. Very cool. So I guess we can kind of go to farmlands from there.
We should go to wild expansions from there.
Okay.
Again, we utilize Chainlink VFR to boost the APR. So, like I said, we have a generally low APR across the board, but once a day, at a random hour, every 24 hours, Chainlink VFR is going to decide, hey, let's boost the rewards for 1 epoch, 2 epoch, or 3 epochs randomly between 5x and 10x. So you're going to see those APRs skyrocket just for 3 epochs at the maximum. But those 3 epochs could all be 9 hours each because it's random. So it could potentially be 3 epochs in 9 hours with some 10x APRs at maximum.
Yeah.
So this incentivizes staying in, not jumping in and out, because if you jump in and out, you're never going to catch the wild curve, the wild expansion. You're never going to catch the wild APRs if you're not in the masonry or in the farmlands or in the beehive. You're not going to get it.
Any of it, yeah. And if it's been a while and it feels like it's due, that's going to create a little FOMO, and that sounds like a lot of fun. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for everyone that's going to take part in this. It's going to be fun. And then we got wild cards, mystery boxes. I mean, we got a lot of fun stuff coming.
Yeah, so I had a lot of questions about the wild card, but it seemed like every single time it was the same question. I'm pretty sure the answer is going to be no, but can the wild cards be transferred or sold at any rate? I'm guessing the answer is no. I even heard you talk about it because you don't want it sold to, your biggest holder, right? So is that correct?
The default answer has to be no right now, because we don't see a way that we can allow transfer of these utility NFTs, since they're stackable. So if you have two 50% off tax NFTs, that's 100% off. A whale could buy them off you for $200. If all you have is 20, you'll love 200, and then it will save that whale like $33,000.
Yeah.
And that comes straight out of the liquidity pool,
Right.
which hurts all investors. So the default answer is no trading of the wild cards or the mystery boxes, especially the mystery boxes, because mystery boxes are permanent rewards. Wild cards are temporary rewards. So a wild card will be 20% off taxes for a month. mystery box would be 20% off taxes forever.
Mm-hmm. And how much? So it is $999 for a mystery box, correct?
No, I need to update the docs on this yet. We made, we're going to have 3 degrees of mystery boxes. The third degree mystery box will be 999. Second degree mystery box will be 666. And the first degree mystery box will be 333.
Okay.
But the utilities are permanent and powerful.
That's cool. And I love that, man. You guys thought about this piece pretty well. Obviously you got to make your whales happy, right? It's just part of how it goes. And
Mm-hmm.
if you make your whale happy and at the same time give him or her the incentive to do everything they can to make sure that this protocol lasts a long time, well, there you hit two birds with one stone. So I really like that, man. Nice touch.
Yeah. Yeah. I personally know the biggest holders, and they just want to see the success of the protocol.
Very cool. I like that. All right. So should we go back to, let's see, I think we covered everything in regards to these. I think we can keep going down, even though we've already kind of touched on the auto compounder.
Auto
But yeah.
Magic, Auto Magic is just our auto compounder, which will have no fees to auto compound. You just pay a one-time fee for the Magic NFT. So there's going to be 2 Auto Magic NFTs, one for the masonry and one for the farmland. You pay $33 in level for each of them, and that gives you access to the auto compounders for life. And half of that level is burned, and the other half of that level is added to liquidity.
Okay. Pretty cool. Yeah. So, and the lodge is all about rewarding community, not every degen with a finger. But I'm sure it is a tomb fork, right, man? So there'll still be a lot of degening with the share token, I'm sure. Which,
Sure. Oh yeah,
yeah,
it's crypto. There's going to be
yeah,
some degenning on anything. Yeah.
yeah, on anything.
And
Exactly, guys. Yeah, yeah. This is DeFi,
hey,
and
this is the kind of thing you want to this is the kind of thing I like degenning on. If I were to
Mhm.
degen, this is exactly right up my alley. But I guess I'm biased.
No, I saw that right away. Don't get me wrong. I like everything about dues and how to play a share token is very different strategy, I think. But I'm definitely gonna be trying to,
Oh yeah, yeah.
degen.
We purposely made this tomb model. Like any strategy you had for a past tomb model, that's not going to work
It's gonna be different. Yeah,
for this one.
yeah.
And wild cards are for sale right now. They're $33 a piece, and um, you won't be able to reveal them until the week before launch. So that'll give you time to see what cards you got,
Mm-hmm.
and that will change your strategy based on the cards that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And they're stackable. So I'm really interested in seeing the way different investors are going to stack different wild cards in strategic ways that we didn't even foresee, and do some interesting things with gamification here. It's wide open for
Mm-hmm.
gamification, but not harmful gamification.
No, fun,
Yeah,
and I
fun.
love that. I love it's fun. You have options, you have strategy. It's so different than your silly rebase tokens where you just buy it and do nothing.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways to play this, which I think is really, really cool. I think
Yeah.
look, guys, everything about DeFi, only do it with money that you can afford to lose. Blah blah blah, all that good stuff. But just know this: that with this project right here, as far as like a lot of people have been asking me, well, what should I expect out of dues from like a ROI type of perspective? And I think the answer there is very hard to state because with
Yeah.
these big taxes on those that don't hold through, there's no telling how much it could rise or not rise or fall. Like it's going to be, it's going to be very hard to predict that. So don't think that, because it's like this hex type model where they kind of, you can kind of figure out what your return on investment will be after a certain amount of time. I don't think that's going to be possible here. Would you agree?
Well, we can give you the best we can give you is your weight in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
So we can give you your your ranking.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have analytics that will begin collecting data as soon as we launch. But those analytics are not going to be very accurate for a couple of months because it needs data on, who
Sure.
stayed in, who left early. So it's going to take a little bit for that data to accumulate enough for some reliable analytics on the analytics page. But if you just look at every study, over 50% are paper hand, and that is basically the you don't need 50% to exit early for this to be very profitable.
No, you don't. And in DeFi, it's going to be less than 50%. So it's just you're
Yeah,
talking about numbers as a whole, not just DeFi, where it's going to
and
be less.
right, and you're not, and with dues, you're not just taking 3,333 and dividing that. You're not just taking the market cap and dividing it by the price of the token. I mean, the number of tokens, and that's your price, because you're going to have to subtract all of the dues that are in the beehive. They're not in circulation.
Mm-hmm.
So they're essentially out of circulation.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to subtract that. We have a tokenomics expert, and yeah, dues is designed to do some interesting things. Yeah,
Yeah, so
but
it sounds like it's going to be
everything
like,
can yeah everything could go to zero. Any DeFi project can fail,
of
and
course.
I'll be the first to tell you we could fail. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, so with Hex, because of the way that it's structured, the market cap's always going to look really, really, really much higher than kind of. I wouldn't say it really is, but kind of it really is because the liquidity is going to give us the answer. So,
right.
so the liquidity for Hex, I know, is a lot lower than what you expect it to be, considering its fully diluted market cap. Is it? I'm guessing it's going to be something similar here too, right?
Well, I think that's because there's so much hex locked up. But if you look at the volume on hex, it actually paints a it actually begs more questions. Low liquidity, high volume.
Mm-hmm.
It's over $6 million today in volume. I mean, that's
Can
got
Hex
I.
be traded in perp in futures?
It's only on dexes. It's not on any
Okay.
set centralized exchange.
So that's a
But
really
there,
high number without leverage, man. That's a high
well,
number.
there are decentralized leverage platforms like GMX and Mummy. Um, but as far as I know, I don't see Hex on any. I've never seen Hex on a leverage dex.
Neither
Not
have
at
I.
all.
Neither have I. Yeah.
No.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about liquidity. Let's talk about the liquidity manager. This was a bit of a controversial point with some of my viewers, man, just because of the fact that a few of them are getting PTSD from Horde,
Oh
from
yeah.
Liquid Capital. I mean, a lot of these liquidity managers, what we learned is that they work well until they don't, and then they really don't work well. So, what have you learned from that? And tell us more about what your plan is around this feature of the protocol.
We're completely changing this page. This is if you scroll down to the
Mm-hmm.
bottom of that page 15 days ago, I must have
Mm-hmm.
changed something in there, but we've this doesn't describe our what we call our tax and liquidity management system, which is really innovative. No one's ever done it before in DeFi. Our lead coder has actually managed to create a new feature,
Okay.
and so that's going to be exciting for the whole market to see this new feature and how it plays out. But we've tested it. We do a lot of testing, and it works like a charm. It works like magic. Every test we run, and we go by the good old saying, uh, "Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst."
Mm-hmm.
So being prepared for the worst and then experiencing success is really going to be helpful. But I can't talk about the I can't
Right,
talk
right.
about this.
The
But
secret
it's nothing.
sauce
It's
piece.
nothing like hordes.
Okay.
Nothing. It's not that kind of system. It's not a pool of funds that it draws from, and then once that pool of funds is
Hmm.
dry, it runs out. No, it's coding features. It's new. It's a new method of doing DeFi that everyone's gonna love.
Okay. And you have mentioned your lead dev already once in this video, but I was just kind of curious, how big is your team?
Just the three of us, and
Wow.
one, and we have one consultant.
Okay, cool. How many mods do you have in Discord?
I think two.
Two. Okay, cool. Okay, small team. I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
So we
we
don't
do
have to.
too. Yeah.
Okay, we don't have to worry about you guys like just slow rugging the treasury, stating, "Oh, well, we have all this payroll." So I guess we don't have to worry about that. So that's
No, the
good.
mods work for free. They
Oh
just
wow,
yeah, they just wanted to. So yeah.
damn. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
All
we have a
right,
really great community. It's amazing. Anyone out there, it's discord.gg/lodge capital.
I'll have all the links below the video in the video
Yeah,
description.
it's
Don't you
it's
worry
a
about that, guys.
great community. A lot of names you'll recognize in there. It's a lot of eyes on Lodge Capital, and it's going to be a lot of fun to launch.
Yeah, yeah, it should be. So we talked about fire tax, and I think that's it as far as the key points. We have the official links. No, we talked about it. The reward distribution.
That that needs to get updated.
Okay, okay. So
We just finalized the full formula. I told you, yeah, I told you the formula in the beginning,
you sure did.
the
Hmm.
very beginning.
You sure did. So you talked about the team. I'm not big into KYC. I think it's one of the most overrated things. But if you want to talk about it,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Um, we went through the KYC. It's just for sentiment because people wanted it. We contacted a company. All three of us submit our passports, did a video call, showed our utility bills, proof of address, all that kind of thing.
Hmm.
And then we got back in dev chat and first things first, get back to work. What are we working on? And
Hmm.
then I forget who said it, but they said, did we just screw ourselves by KYCing? Because part of the conditions of the KYC is you can't make changes. There's all sorts of conditions to the KYC
Hmm.
that that wouldn't work for a project that is still in development. At least not with this company,
Hmm.
because they're saying you make any changes, that's false advertisement, and we're going to contact the authorities. So, like I said, we just all credit to them. They refunded the money.
Okay, that's
Um,
cool.
but if it makes people feel more comfortable once development is finalized and launched, we'll
Hmm.
KYC.
I
But
mean,
we can't have that hanging over our heads while we're developing.
no, of course not. That reminds me of remember back in like February last year, March of last year, when the big thing was, well, did they renounce their contracts? And then we all realized that renouncing the contracts was stupid because now you're like, you paint yourself
Yeah.
into a corner, right? So it
Right.
sounds like something like that. So no, definitely don't do that.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's,
Oh
it's,
yeah, we would. Yeah. Especially the beehive is not getting renounced for. Oh God, we want to make sure there's no kinks in it at all before
Mhm,
we renounce that thing, or
mhm.
we'll never renounce it.
I'm
Uh,
okay with that.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
kind of have to be,
yeah.
because if anything were to go wrong, you want the team behind the project you're invested in to have the capability to fix it instead of being locked out of it.
Yeah, and like most people don't even realize this. Like even Bitcoin goes through upgrades, guys. Like it's just
Yeah,
part of the process. This is IT, it's tech. We're dealing with
yeah.
code. We're dealing with you got to be able to have access
I
to
mean,
change what you need to change.
on the other side of the coin, immutability is also a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
When code is written perfectly
Hmm.
and just works, it's okay. Renounce that. And if it just works, like yeah, there's a lot of protocols that just work.
Hmm.
So they can totally be renounced, but when you're on the cutting edge of new DeFi technology, yeah, you can't really renounce. And KYC, I roll my eyes at KYC because it's also bullshit. Uh,
Yeah.
Projects rug all the time that are KYC'd, and nothing happens.
Hmm.
So what even is it really to KYC? Some people live in jurisdictions that go ahead and call the authorities. They won't do anything about it anyway. It's
Hmm.
it's so I find the best way for trust is to just dox. Here's me. Here's my face,
Hmm.
and you can go watch years of me talking about other projects on my channel.
Yeah. No, you're no name. Every single person I've talked to knew who you were, so that does help a lot, and you're putting your reputation on the line, and that goes a long way for sure. It really does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I guess my last question to you is it looks like your plan to deal with the bear market, with the fact that DeFi still having some liquidity issues, is that you focused on the tokenomics, on kind of like the backbone of this of your protocol. But as far as what else you're planning to do, I know that you're going to wait till the market's just right for your launch. Is there anything else that you think that you've kind of figured out with how to deal with lack of liquidity that some of the other DeFi projects have not or did not?
Well, let me clear up the assumption that we're gonna wait for perfect conditions to launch. We're
Okay.
just we got through development way faster than I expected.
When did you
We're
start?
about 2.5 months ago, 3 months ago,
Okay.
so not long for a good project. So we're actually in the finals. We're at the UI UX stage, back end complete almost. Uh, Tested, you know, we broke it all into different modules, tested each one rigorously, and I don't like to say it's going to launch really, really soon. I don't like to give a date because people get mad. And even if people say, oh, well, you should give an estimated date and people will understand if there's setbacks. And they do, but it does drop the sentiment when there's
Mhm.
setbacks. So I just keep saying months, months maybe, but really we're probably looking at about a month and a half.
Okay.
Uh, yeah,
Okay.
and
Month and a half.
and to clear up, launching when the market's perfect, we're just not going to launch at the tip of a bull trap, or when Bitcoin's plunging. We're not going to launch at a very volatile moment. But as
Hmm.
long as we're trading in a range like we usually always are, we're launching. As soon as development is done and testing is done, we're launching. As long as Bitcoin's not tanking
Got it.
at the
Got it.
moment, we'll wait for
Mhm.
it to quit tanking and then launch.
No, that's cool. I think that works, and I think the average DeFi player, investor, DJ, whatever you want to call him or her, understands this. So I think the whole sticking to a date thing is not as important as maybe it was a year ago. So
And as for liquidity, that's where the bulk of taxes are going. And since we don't sell half of our token to create auto liquidity, we are creating double the amount of liquidity than a normal tax would do. So, really, when it says 6% being
hmm
added to auto liquidity for your dues, it's actually 12%. An additional 6% is coming
Right.
in.
No, I get that. I get that. And guys, just to wrap, as we wrap things up, just know we're in round 2. We still have 174. I refreshed this, but about 174 dues left. And yeah, 0 team tokens, which I really, really like. That's very, very cool.
Yeah, and you can buy the wild cards now, which are really cool. They have 33 different perks for the first edition. So they're $33 a piece, 33 different perks that you can get. And
Very cool.
yeah, we're excited to launch soon. And we still got to get through pre-sale round 3. This one we have some marketing dropping very soon, so this round's gonna sell out maybe by maybe really quick, and then round 3 is when we've been doing marketing in phases. So round 1, since the price was the lowest, we allocated the smallest number of dues to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then round 2, since the price is in the middle and not the highest, we still allocated a smaller amount of number of dues to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then for round 3, we're selling the rest of the pre-sale supply for the top price, $188. So this is the last 100 or so that you can get for 150. Then they become 188.
Mm-hmm.
But your
Yeah.
vesting is quicker when you pay more.
Yeah.
If
See
you
that.
notice.
6% versus 4% for round 2,
Right.
and versus 3% for round 1. Yeah.
Right. So the people that paid cheaper, they're vesting longer. It's only fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why in the formula for the Beehive, we have your amount of dues divided by the total amount of dues. That part of the formula makes sure that whales aren't just soaking up all of the weight.
Mm-hmm.
So it's equity. It's equitable. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that. All right, man. That's about all I had. Is there anything else that you want to lead things off with?
No, not really. Just excited for launch. Join the Discord. That's where everything is happening. That's where you'll find out anything about the project and all the updates if you're at all interested.
All right. Yeah, I will have all the links below the video description, guys. Thanks so much for watching. And if there's any other questions that we didn't cover, just jump in the Discord and they'll be more than happy to answer your questions. And you get to know more of what these guys have cooking. So, all right. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.
Thanks.